It is a common mistake to assume that when a woman goes silent, she has permanently closed the door. In reality, silence is often a form of emotional processing or a temporary pause rather than a final exit. If you misinterpret this quiet period as a total loss, you risk acting out of desperation or making a move based on bad intel that could ruin your chances of a real reconciliation. You have to understand the difference between someone who is gone forever and someone who is simply standing still, watching how you handle the space. Right now, you are likely stuck in a loop of digital detective work, staring at your phone and trying to find deep meaning in the smallest interactions. When she views your Instagram story after a month of nothing or sends a text that feels 5% warmer than the last one, your brain starts working overtime to decode a signal. The danger here is that you don't know if you are witnessing a genuine opening or if you are just a man so starved for a connection that you are hallucinating a symphony out of pure static. Both possibilities are on the table, and that uncertainty is exactly why you cannot afford to move yet. What you need right now isn't hope or comforting theories from your friends who are just telling you what you want to hear to make you feel better. You need cold, objective clarity. You need to see the situation for exactly what it is, not what you wish it was, so you don't end up making the worst decision of your life with the wrong information in your hands. The core principle you have to internalize before you take a single step is this: her interest is information, not an invitation. Just because she starts looking in your direction or testing the waters doesn't mean she is inviting you to come running back into her life. If you treat a small sign of interest like a green light to pour your heart out, you've already lost. A man who understands this distinction maintains his composure and his straight spine, while a man who doesn't starts performing, trying to prove he's changed or being overly nice just to win her over. One of these men earns her genuine respect, the other simply gets recycled until she finds a reason to leave again. You have to realize that when a woman begins to reconsider leaving, she isn't looking for the exact same guy she walked away from. She is looking for someone better, someone stronger. She is sending out quiet signals like sonar, bouncing them off you to see what kind of man you've become in her absence. She wants to see if you've grown or if you're still the same guy who is easily swayed by her moods. If your response to her reaching out is immediate emotional relief or obvious desperation, she will instantly recalibrate her feelings. She'll realize that she still has total control over you, and the mystery, the thing that makes a man compelling, is gone. If you make it too easy for her to return without any growth on your part, you set a dangerous precedent for the future. Even if she does come back, she won't come back as an equal partner who respects you. She'll come back into a relationship where she holds all the power, knowing she can leave whenever she wants without any real consequences because you'll always be there waiting. Over time, she will stop respecting you the way a woman needs to respect the man she is with, and the cycle of heartbreak will just repeat itself. You aren't doing her or yourself a favor by folding the moment she shows a spark of interest. You are showing her that your walls were never really there to begin with. The fundamental reason most men fail in this situation is that they mistake being safe for being attractive. You have to understand that while women often seek security in the long run, they are viscerally attracted to men they don't feel they have to secure or manage. There is a massive, life-altering difference between being the safe choice and being the compelling choice. The safe choice is the man who waits by the phone, whose life has effectively paused since the breakup, and who is emotionally leaky, meaning his feelings are obvious, predictable, and desperate. When you are the safe choice, she knows exactly where you are and exactly what you're thinking. There is no mystery, no challenge, and therefore no attraction. The compelling man operates on a completely different frequency because he focuses on building rather than waiting. He understands that his value isn't tied to her validation, so he moves on and grows. He becomes harder to read, not because he is playing psychological games or trying to be mysterious, but because he is genuinely too busy building a life to be constantly available. When she looks back and sees that you didn't wait, that you actually moved forward and became a stronger version of yourself without her, that is what creates a true magnetic pull. It signals that you are a man of high value who doesn't need her to function. If you ignore this and choose to stay in waiting mode, it will cost you everything. It doesn't just cost you the girl. It costs you your internal dignity and the version of yourself you could have become during this time. If she sees that you've just been sitting around hoping for her return, she might feel pity or a sense of comfort, but she won't feel respect. And in a romantic context, once a woman loses respect for a man, the relationship is functionally dead. You cannot negotiate attraction with a woman who sees you as a backup plan. You have to be the man who is moving so fast and building so much that she feels like she's the one who might be left behind. These 11 signs are not a checklist of things you need to fix to win her over. They are a diagnostic tool used to measure exactly where she is emotionally. Think of this as reconnaissance. She is gathering intelligence before deciding her next move, and you need to see these actions for what they are: tests of your current state. The first sign is the story watch, where she suddenly reappears in your social media viewers after weeks of ghosting. She isn't ready to talk yet, but she is scouting your profile to see what your new energy looks like and if you've actually moved on. This often leads to the low-risk probe, where she sends a random meme or a trivial question. She's testing the temperature of the water. If you respond with immediate, over-the-top excitement, you've failed the test by showing you were just sitting around waiting for her signal. As she gets deeper into her investigation, you'll notice the indirect inquiry and the tone shift. She starts asking mutual friends about you to see if you're seeing someone else, hoping the intelligence gets back to you. When you do interact, the previous sharpness or cold distance in her voice begins to soften. This is the thaw, where the walls she built to justify leaving start to crack. She may then pivot to unprompted nostalgia, bringing up a shared memory or a place you used to go. She's checking to see if the past still has power over you. In these moments, you shouldn't act like a robot, but you shouldn't get sappy either. You remain grounded, acknowledging the past without letting it pull you off your current path. The reconnaissance becomes more physical through strategic visibility and subtle jealousy. She might start showing up at places she knows you'll be, or posting thirst traps to remind you of what you're missing. She wants to see if you'll bite and reach out. If you mention another woman or she sees a comment on your post, her investment might break the surface through quiet jealousy. You can't be jealous if you're truly indifferent, so this is a major indicator that she's still emotionally attached. This is often accompanied by the milestone text, a birthday or holiday wish, that proves you haven't been deleted from her internal calendar. Your job is to stay brief and polite, like a man who is present but definitely not starving for her attention. Finally, the most revealing signs are returning to old habits, embodied truth, and calculated vulnerability. She might start listening to your music or visiting your favorite spots because she misses the version of herself that existed when she was with you. When you are physically near her, her body language, standing closer or holding eye contact a second too long, will tell the truth that her pride won't allow her to say out loud. The final stage is when she offers you a sliver of real vulnerability, like sharing a fear or a regret. This is the most expensive thing she can give. She's testing to see if the man you've become is someone she can finally trust. If you pounce on this as an opportunity to get her back, you ruin the moment. You simply witness it, stay steady, and let your actions speak for themselves. To respond effectively, you have to stop being the seeker and start becoming the destination. A man who handles this correctly isn't refreshing his notifications every 10 minutes or dissecting the timestamp of a text. He is a man who keeps the promises he made to himself. When he goes to the gym, reads a book to sharpen his mind, or invests in his career, he isn't doing it to put on a show for an audience of one. He's doing it because his own life matters to him. He doesn't chase because he knows his worth, and he doesn't collapse into a puddle of gratitude the second she looks back in his direction. He views her sudden interest as mere information, a data point to be observed, rather than an emotional emergency that requires him to drop everything. He responds from a place of absolute groundedness, never from a place of relief that she finally reached out. Your immediate action plan is to kill the waiting energy that is currently draining your power. Stop checking her profile, stop looking for hidden meanings in her posts, and stop rehearsing imaginary conversations in your head that haven't even happened. Instead, redirect that mental energy into something tangible. Identify one specific project, physical goal, or skill that you've been neglecting since the relationship ended and start it today. You need to build a life that is so genuinely engaging and fulfilling that you eventually stop needing to check her story just to feel a spark of excitement. You aren't doing this work as a clever strategy to win her back. That's a weak motivation. You are doing it because you owe it to the man you are capable of becoming. The irony of attraction is that when you truly stop needing her to complete your life, you become the exact answer to the questions she's asking herself. When she sees a man who is rooted, stable, and thriving independently, she realizes that the window she thought she controlled is actually guarded by a man with high standards. This is where true power lives. It's not the power to dominate or play games. It's the power of being so integrated and at peace with yourself that her presence becomes a choice, not a necessity. By focusing on your own growth, you stop being a safe choice she can pick up and drop at will, and you become a man who earns respect simply by standing his ground.